بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله تعالى نحمده ونستعين به ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله تبارك وتعالى من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. نسأل الله العزيز الغفار أن يجيرنا وإياكم من عذاب النار. We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept your good deeds. And how quickly is Ramadan going, subhanAllah. It's already day number 8. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow you and I to do better in the coming days than what we did in the previous days, inshaAllah ta'ala. We continue, inshaAllah ta'ala, hadith number 6, hadith of Sa'ad radiallahu anhu. And obviously you notice it's a tremendous hadith from the amount of information that could be derived from it. And we got to the part where Sa'ad is asking the Prophet ﷺ, am I going to live on, or am I going to die here in Mecca and not rejoin my companions and your companions back to Medina? But the Prophet ﷺ gave him hope, and of course told him that either way, any deed that you do for the sake of Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for it. And he gave him a hint that there's a good chance that you will not die here in Mecca, that you will go back. And obviously we saw that from the biography of Sa'd radiallahu anhu, the fact that he radiallahu anhu lived on, and he went on to have many other children than the one daughter that he radiallahu anhu had. And then the Prophet ﷺ said that there's a good chance that you will live on, and then so people will benefit from you, and for others you will be a source of harm. And obviously we saw that from all the futuhat that he participated in, all the battles to propagate Islam that he participated in. So the believers benefited from him, obviously. And of course, the disbelievers that got in his way, they were harmed by him. So we saw that clearly, subhanAllah. ثم قال صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم أمضي بأصحابه هجرتهم. سأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يمضي بأصحابه هجرتهم. وقال ابن عثيمين ذلك بأمرين. The Prophet ﷺ made a dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to complete the migration of his companions and to accept it. And Shaykh ibn Uthaymin said that's two things. الأمر الأول ثباتهم على الإيمان. سبحان الله. لأنه إذا ثبت الإنسان على الإيمان ثبتت له أو ثبت على الهجرة. If a person migrates for the sake of Allah, he's leaving the house of Kufr that used to be Mecca into Medina. That's an act of worship. Then the next step for him, for that reward to stick, is for him to remain a believer and to remain a Sahabi of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And that's subhanAllah. The person could be wondering, well, how is that possible that a person would not remain? But there were people that did not remain. I'll give you an example. And by the way, this personality, there's a difference of opinion between the scholars as to what took place with this particular personality. It is about an ayah or ayat that when they were revealed, and one person, it was either Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Salih or it was another, was a Christian Arab that came and accepted Islam, and he became one of the scribes of the Prophet ﷺ. So it's either, this incident took place with either one of them according to the opinions of the scholar. What took place is when, because the Prophet ﷺ, you have to understand, and this is to also clarify one of the myths that people have. The Quran was only written later on in the time of Uthman. And Mustashrifun, the Orientalists, have taken this idea and said, okay, this Quran that you say is so authentic is only written years and years after the Prophet. So what are you talking about? Just like the Bible, big parts of the Bible were written hundreds of years after. So what's the difference? I say you are completely wrong, because the Prophet ﷺ, whenever he received the revelation, he will call the kataba, he will call the scribes, like Ubay ibn Ka'ab and others there that were proficient in writing, and he will dictate what was revealed to him, and they will write it on the spot, and then they will have to recite it back to him to make sure that it is correct. So this individual was one of the scribes when this ayah was revealed. The ayah that talks about the different stages of creation of the fetus. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاهُ نُطْفَةً فِي قَرَارٍ مَكِينٍ ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَا النُّطْفَةَ عَلَقَةً فَخَلَقْنَا الْعَلَقَةَ مُضْغَةً فَخَلَقْنَا الْمُضْغَةَ عِظَامًا فَكَسَوْنَا الْعِظَامَ لَحْمًا ثُمَّ أَنشَأْنَاهُ خلقا آخر ونقف هنا. ثم أنشأناه خلقا آخر. And now we translate. And we certainly have created man from an extract of clay, that we placed him on a sperm drop in a firm lodging. Then we made the sperm drop into a clinging cloth, and we made the cloth into a lump of flesh, and we made from the lump bones, and we covered the bones with flesh. Then we developed him into another creation. These are the stages that the modern science has corroborated, so we know that for a fact. But I stopped before the praising of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It seems like this scribe, one of the scribes, before the Prophet ﷺ said it, he said, what is logic? فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. The scribe said it first. Okay? This man said, فَتَبَارَكَ اللَّهُ أَحْسَنُ الْخَالِقِينَ. So blessed is Allah, the best of creators. فَقَالَ اكْتُبْهَا فَهَكَذَا أُنْزِلَتْ. He said, yeah, write it. That's exactly how it was revealed. Okay? فَقِيلَ أَنَّ هَذَا الرَّجُلُ قَدْ ارْتَدَّ. This person, he left Islam because of this, after this incident. وَرَجَعَ إِلَى مَكَّةَ وقال ذلك محاولة منه أن يتقرب من أهل مكة أنه هو الذي كان يقول للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما يكتب في الوحي. He went back to the people of Mecca and said, I used to tell the revelation, this so-called revelation of the Prophet, I used to tell him what to say, subhanAllah. So the difference is either is it Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn Bisah or this person that used to be a Christian. As for this person that used to be a Christian, if it's him, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that he died on this condition. So if he had migrated to come and pledge allegiance to the Prophet ﷺ, became a Sahabi, became a scribe of the Quran, all of that is down the drain because of what he did. And he said that they buried him, and that every time the earth will eject him, it would not keep him inside. As for Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn Bisah, he did the same thing, and the Prophet ﷺ mentioned him amongst the four people, or the four individuals, that the Sahaba, if you see them, you kill them at sight. It doesn't matter, even they're holding to the curtains of the Kaaba, you still kill them. So these were the orders of the Sahaba. But Uthman brought this individual to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "This is Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Sarh. He's here to pledge allegiance. Please extend your hand, Ya Rasulullah." The Prophet ﷺ looked away, did not extend his hand. But Uthman insisted over and over, 2 or 3 times. When the Nabi ﷺ كان قد قال كيف لا أستحي من رجل تستحي منه الملائكة. How is it possible that I would not be bashful around a person? You know the incident. He was sitting in one of his chambers, and he was relaxed that his his pants were a little up, on his leg, and Abu Bakr and Umar were sitting there. And Abu Bakr and Umar, they're his companions for a long time, and also they're married to he's married to their daughters, so he was comfortable. Then when he found out that Uthman was walking, and he was asking permission to walk in, he covered. So the other two, they said, "Ya Rasulullah, كيف لا أستحي من رجل تستحي منه الملائكة." How is it possible that I'm not bashful around a person that the malaika are bashful from? Subhanallah. So Uthman, because of his status with the Prophet ﷺ, then the Prophet ﷺ extended his hand. وتعلمون أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم كان بعث رحمة للعالمين. He is a mercy for mankind. But it shows you, this incident shows you that sometimes more الحزم, that toughness is required sometimes in certain situations, because this is a big deal for someone to go back and tell people that he's the one that was writing, that was given the ideas when it comes to revelation. This is the revelation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So finally, out of bashfulness from Uthman, he extended his hand and he accepted the allegiance of Abdullah ibn Sa'd ibn Abi Sarh. فلما انصرف أظنكم سمعتم ذلك من قبل قال أليس فيكم رجل عاقل أو رجل رشيد يقوم رآني كففت يدي عن هذا الرجل فيقوم إليه فيقتله. Is there one of you that has any kind of sense to understand, to see that I kept my hand from this person, from accepting the allegiance of this person, to walk up to him and kill him, subhanAllah. Said, "Ya Rasulullah, if you only gave us a sign." فقال صلى الله عليه وسلم ما كان لرسول أن تكون له خائنة أعين. That is not befitting for a prophet or for me to have this kind of خائنة الأعين is not giving you a little sign, a little wink, to give you something subtle that people do not see. The way of the prophets and the messengers is direct. If I'm going to tell you something, I'm going to tell you directly. But you people saw me not want to extend my hand to accept the allegiance of this person, and I gave you the orders previously that whenever you see him, you come and you take care of him, but you didn't do it, subhanAllah. But it worked out into the benefit of this man. It was said that after that, there was not a blemish on his record, the fact that he went back to Islam, حسن إسلامه والله تبارك وتعالى أعلم. فهذه الأولى التي ذكر العلامة ابن عثيمين رحمه الله تعالى أن يثبت الرجل على إسلامه وعلى إيمانه حتى تثبت له هجرته. That after the person remains steadfast on the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then only then his hijrah will be, he will be rewarded for his hijrah. It is a tremendous act of worship. Needless to say, and we said this before, the fact that these people have left their homes, some of them left their families and their children, a lot of them left their wealth. SubhanAllah, one of the many examples, Suhaib al-Rumi, radiallahu anhu, one of the tremendous companions, and he was nicknamed al-Rumi because he is not from the Arabs. He came from Greater Syria. He was from the Romans, by lineage. And subhanAllah, he came to Mecca as a young person. He did well for himself. And subhanAllah, when he was leaving, they stood in his way. They said, "You came to us as a nobody, and now you made all this wealth. You think we're going to get out of here and take this wealth and help Muhammad with it?" He said, "If I were to show you where all my wealth is, would you let me go? He said, of course. And subhanAllah, he ended up giving up all of his wealth for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why these people, the very first people that migrated with the Prophet ﷺ, nobody will be able to reach their status. They'll have a tremendous status in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, Thani, I'll give you a hint about this one, but I'll explain it tomorrow. We're already at 15 minutes. And يرجع أحدهم إلى مكة بعد أن خرج منها. And subhanAllah. So the person that migrated for the sake of Allah should not go back to the same place that he migrated from. Otherwise his migration would be no. And I will explain that more, and I'll give you, inshallah, one of the examples. But going back in your migration, just like going back in your sadaqah. Like giving something for the sake of Allah, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, having a second thoughts, you follow that person, hey, can I get that money back? And subhanAllah, it's about the same thing according to the scholars, but we'll talk about that tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it so that our deeds are for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make us followers of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. الحمد لله رب العالمين وجزاكم الله خيرا.